Hi there, I'm Steve Taylor at the Wessex School of Psychiatry. I'm joined today by Nathan, who's a CT2 in core training psychiatry. And Nathan, you've been using the portfolio for a couple of years now, and you've been linking your portfolio to the curriculum.
I have.
As I understand it. So we're going to talk about a couple of things today. We're going to talk about linking activities back to the curriculum, how to use the case log, and also how to create a new folder. And you very kindly offered how to show us how to do that on this dummy portfolio. So the Royal College of Psychiatrists have allowed us to use a dummy portfolio, so we're not tinkering with anyone's real portfolio and messing it up for them. So first thing, so thanks very much for joining me.
That's okay.
So if you'd like to start by telling us a bit about how to link activities back to the curriculum.
Yeah, sure. So what you need to do first of all is bring up your portfolio. So you click here. And this brings up the whole thing, brings up this splash page first of all, showing your current year or current training year and details about yourself. And then what you can do to bring up all your activities and things so far is click there. And this brings up all this person's activities, which are currently being filtered, but we'll unfilter that. So here's this person's activities. What we can do is click into an activity, let's say this example document, and have a look at what's inside. This is the document itself, and over here on the left is the mapped competencies that this person's mapped this activity to.
So mapping is the same as linking?
Same as linking.
For the purposes of the portfolio?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Same as linking all the objectives. What you do is you click on mapped competencies to bring up this screen. By default, it brings you to a PDP thing, but what we want to do is go to the core psychiatry curriculum, which is here under active frameworks.
Right, so there are different ways of mapping activities, but what we're going to ask core trainees to do is to map to the core psychiatry curriculum directly.
Yeah, and then that brings up the entire curriculum here, so it's got every learning objective. What you can do is go through and decide which ones are relevant to this activity. So you can click here and here and here, bring all these up green, and then they all appear on the side here. If you're unsure as to whether a learning objective is relevant or not, you can just click this I, and it brings up a nice little description about what's included in the learning objective, what knowledge, what attitudes, and some of them have skills as well. So just as a little reminder.
So it's kind of a summary of the relevant curriculum item that you're mapping.
And then once you've done that, you don't need to save or anything. It's all just in there as part of the activity. And if you go back to activities, you can't see them from this screen, but when you go back, they're all still there.
Okay. So say that I wanted to look at all the activity I'd done for a particular curriculum item, particular intended learning outcome. How would I do that?
So you need to go to your dashboard, which is this splash screen here. This shows you a summary of everything that's been linked so far. So this person's got 43 competencies.
So it's like a progress bar towards mapping all the competencies in the curriculum.
And I think the Royal College, the idea is they want you to map everything each year to show that you've kind of covered all the bases. If you click on that number competencies mapped, it brings you up to this screen, which shows every learning objective, but also every activity that's mapped to it, each individual activity, and you can bring them up and have a look at them.
Great. Okay. Well, that's the mapping, linking part of the portfolio. So next, it'd be helpful to have a look at how to make a log entry. So the case log, as I understand it, is part of the curriculum is that over the 3 years of the core training or the equivalent, you have to see at least 50 cases. And the idea is that you log these on your portfolio as a record for you to then refer back to for ARCP and to ensure that you've seen enough cases. So how would we do that?
What we can do is, again, go back to our activity screen and click New Activity. There's a number of proformas that you can choose from. So it says here, enter a title for activity or proforma. One of those is a case log. So if you type case log, it comes up and you just press return and it brings up the proforma. The other two are reflection and supervision. So we want to do a case log today. So we bring that up. And this is the screen that the case log would be. This is the proforma for the whole thing. And what we do is add a title, so this one can be anxiety. We put the date that we did it on, whenever we saw the patient. We select a category, so either one of these required evidence ones or a curriculum one. So this one might be appropriate clinical experience, or it might be emergency psychiatry. I would tag all of these as case log. So you can either add a tag yourself that's not currently there, which case log shouldn't be by default. You type case log and then press comma, and that adds it as a tag for future use. Once it's there, you can type case log and then press return, and that adds it as a tag.
So just explain briefly to me the idea of the tags.
So the tags essentially allow you to go back and look at things by sort of topic or other filter, whatever you want it to be. So I've got tags for case log, reflection, ARCP, required evidence, for example.
I see.
And then it just makes it easier for other people to navigate your portfolio. So we'll say this patient is 25, we'll say saw a patient with anxiety, and you can put whatever in the details here, as long as they're not patient identifiable.
The idea, though, is that this is just a brief summary of the case rather than a reflection.
Yeah, that's right.
If you were doing a reflection, you'd use the reflection pro forma.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So here we've got hours. This means normal working day. That means out of hours. So we'll say we saw them in clinic, say that they're a man, and we can tag Mental Health Act if we like. And submit, and then it's saved as a case log, and it will look like this, and you can put more details in if you wish, or less if you wish. But what you can do, as you rightly said, Steve, is you can add another follow-up. So it might be that you want to reflect on that case. You can add a reflection like so. So you click follow-up and then create a new reflection, and then you can reflect away.
So assuming that you created a reflection, would that appear as a separate activity in your...
So it appears as a separate activity, but also in each one, in the reflection and in the case log, they come up as linked.
Okay, great, thanks very much. So that's case log. So the last thing we want to discuss is how to create a new folder. So the idea, as I understand it, is that for each year of CT training, you should have a separate folder with your evidence in.
That's right. So to do that, we need to go back to our portfolio screen. So you click portfolio at the top here, and it brings up this screen. This is our current folder, so we're currently in CT1. What the college wants is for us to only have one active folder at any time. So in order to make a new folder, we have to close this one. So you click Edit Folder Details, and it brings up this screen. What we need to do is put in an end date for the year. So we'll just say it was 7th of March, and save. And that's that year ended, and we now don't have a current folder.
So although it's a year, I suppose if somebody's working less than full time, it might be more than a sort of chronological year.
Yeah.
It would include all the activity they'd done while they were a CT1
That's right.
time, or if they'd had a break or whatever.
Yeah, okay. So it's a full-time equivalent.
Yeah, so I think that's important to remember, because when we come to the ARCP panel, we'll be wanting to look at all the activity you've done in your training year.
Yeah.
So that's why it's really important to know how to do this. So how do we then create a new folder?
So you click this button, which says New Training Level Folder.
Okay.
And that brings up this screen. So by default, it'll say you're in core. It follows chronologically, but you need to select your own level. So in this case, we've gone from CT1, we're now going to CT2. By default, the start date will be today's date, but you can backdate it if you need to. And you can add a label to the folder if you like, but by default it will be labelled CT2, so I don't usually add any extra labels. Then you click Create, and it creates a new folder for you. At the moment we've got no activities because it's brand new.
So if I was to then create a new activity or do a workplace-based assessment, would it automatically go into this new folder?
Yeah, but by default it will go into there.
Okay, great. That's really clear. Well, Nathan, thanks very much for joining me today. It's been really helpful.
No, thank you.